And the truth is, in my opinion, he's not prepared, ready to make a commitment, and you are uh, no less patient at this point in your life than you were when you were younger with people who waffle with you and waffle with your emotions. So once you make up your mind, it's like you're very much the poop or get off the pot kind of a gal. Either you want me or you don't. Let me know straight up. Tell me straight.
Yeah.
And he's telling you straight. Okay. Oh, sure,
Yes.
sure you
Yeah,
do.
there's a great chemistry here. There's a great
Sexual
reason to
chemistry.
try. There's a great sexual chemistry, but there are other issues.
Yes.
And again, in a 10-minute format, it's a little difficult to really to get too much in depth.
Well, not to take a minute, just what you said. I didn't even have to say it.
Yeah, there
Yeah.
are issues that he will disappoint you again and again, and he will be restrictive with you in the long run.
Well, actually, the truth is, he would feel that Amy is restrictive of him.
Yes, but it's really the other way around. His Saturn is squaring her moon. He's yeah.
So it's her Saturn squaring her moon. Yeah, she's prepared that men don't follow through. No, it's men don't follow through is Amy's experience. Men need to learn how to commit themselves. Men need to be held responsible and accountable for their actions.
Yeah,
This is a father-mom
and
issue,
he's not.
and he's not that
Yeah,
kind
no,
of guy
power.
to fulfill
He
that
definitely
need.
he has power lessons about power, lessons about how
He has
he
lessons
uses
about power.
so and that's
Yeah.
so
Yes, yes.
So that's it.
But both of you have lessons about power. He has lessons about freedom and the cost of freedom and how to be free in a way where he can knit his life together.
This is excellent.
And that he has a hard time doing. You are on the hand.
You find anyway, his rising sign.
Again,
we don't without
have
time
birth. We can't do that.
We can't determine it.
You
And
can't figure.
Where was his moon be anyway?
his moon's in Cancer, somewhere in without the time we can't tell you the house. That's why, I mean, we can be so much more precise. Alex has done an excellent job of assessing what you can assess without having the time. If we had the time, we could tell you much more specifically where the issues are playing out, when they'll play out. But without a precise time of birth, it's very, very difficult.
Because
One of the things that with Jupiter wanting to become more free, what will that happen?
this summertime.
Yeah. Yes. And he will.
Yes,
he will break free.
Yeah.
Yeah.
June, July again?
I'd say this.
July.
We've got to let you go, but instead of the fact that he will break free, give him some space.
Let's put it.
Give him some space. Let him have some freedom,
Yeah.
and the relationship will be easier for you. Well, the last thing, if you want this relationship to in any way remain connected, even as friends, the last thing you can do is allow yourself to judge this fellow. You tend to pass judgment, and that judgment passing will end this relationship for good.
Yeah.
And that's a lesson for you to think about. Okay?
I
Well,
mean, it's easy for us to say,
Yeah,
and we know it's
I'm not-
emotionally,
yeah, I'm not
it's
casting
emotionally
stones.
very challenging.
We all have stuff.
But to cut,
You are dead on about
Yeah.
activity and
yeah, yeah.
Well,
Thanks.
find out how through
right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
you've got a lot of positive things on the ball, both of you. You're both very, very kind and magnanimous people, and I hope the best for both of you. Feel free, Amy, to call us back. Let us know how things go. Keep us posted here.
Okay.
All right. Blessings,
Thanks so much for the
blessings to you, sweet.
Okay.
Okay. Thanks
Good
for calling. Bye-bye.
679-7777. If you're calling outside of Woodstock, if you're calling anywhere from New York City or anywhere else, we're here only between 11 and midnight on Friday nights. Please
11
don't call at any
11
other
and
time, no
midnight?
matter what time this show is,
That's
no
it.
matter when you're seeing this. If you call at any other time, you interrupt another producer.
Yeah.
All right, good evening. Thanks for calling. Hi. How you
Hi.
doing?
Good. How are you?
Oh.
Okay, the love stuff. What's a name we can call you by? Annie. Good enough.
Okay.
Okay, Annie.
Hey, Annie.
What's your birthday? Okay. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't even need to know your birth information. I can tell you're going to get in trouble, Andy. Yeah, absolutely. You're capital T, Annie, capital T, trouble. So yes, that will happen.
Let's get a birthday anyway.
Yeah, is it so?
It's an astrology show. What
This is an
humor there?
astrology show. You want us to do your chart and look into
Yeah,
it in
let's
that
do
fashion?
that.
Yes, yes.
What's
Okay,
your
so
birthday, Annie? So she's a
okay.
fellow Capricorn like you and I.
Uh-huh.
She's a
And
serious,
what's the
responsible
year of your
gal.
birth, dear? Okay.
All right. What
Okay.
time of day, Annie?
Uh-huh.
All right.
Have you been watching the show? Channel Bobbin. Yeah. Okay.
Well,
Tuesday isn't a time, but Tuesday is a day.
oh, there she goes.
No,
Yeah, okay.
2:38 in the morning or in the afternoon? Okay, 2:38 a.m.
This computer's giving me a hard time. Come on. Yeah.
And where were you born, dear? Okay.
2:38 in the morning?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, Kingston.
yeah, it's gonna be Libra, Scorpio rising. Oh God. Well, this is what we do. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah,
All right, and Pluto right there. Wow. So I can relate to that. Pluto in the ascendant. She's a very intense, man, seriously intense kind
Yeah.
of gal. Annie, we're going to show your chart in the TV. Is that okay?
Sure.
So we have a Capricorn and a Scorpio rising. I know what you're thinking.
capital T, trouble. Just teasing.
So, yeah, here's this. First of all, she's got Mars and Venus conjunct. Yeah, so
Another
Venus in
third
Aquarius.
caller tonight with Mars Venus conjunct. So
So
interesting.
Venus in Aquarius, she's very offbeat in relationships. Mars in Pisces, very universally loving. I mean, there's a quality
Yeah.
of true. I mean, this gal loves universally.
Yes.
She really is a very spiritual
Yes.
kind of person.
And
She
Moon-
loves in a spiritual
Moon in
sort of way.
Aries, she's very impetuous.
How the planet Uranus or the sky, Annie, is transiting over and has been sitting right on top of your Venus this whole past year and a half. And Saturn in the sky has been, in her house of marriage, opposing her natal Saturn, squaring her natal Venus. So you are, well, Liam's intuition was right. You're in trouble with a capital T. Yeah, your family is going to be pretty immovable here, quite likely.
Yeah.
And she's got an Aries moon, a Capricorn Aries moon,
Yeah.
Scorpio rising. Let's go back to the chart. Do you mind if I take this a little bit?
Well, go ahead. I want to address the young lady's question, but I want you to go ahead and provide.
Oh, I'm addressing
lots
this
of
directly.
information.
Lots of
Okay.
information.
Good.
I'll shut up in a minute from
No,
now.
okay.
I promise. Here we go. All right, so she's got that moon in Aries. In the area of romance. And so she, in an Aries-like way, likes to have romantic liaisons. She jumps in. The moon in Aries
Jumps right in.
squares her Sun and Neptune conjunction here.
Quite
She's
precisely.
very idealistic. And there's a quality where, you really are very, again, universally loving in your style. Scorpio rising, Pluto on the ascendant, Capricorn Sun, Mars Venus conjunction.
Right.
Is anybody watching this show with you right now? All right. Well, how do I delicately say this? Capricorn Scorpio, I mean, she's a very sexual girl.
Yeah.
She's an incredibly sexually
Did you
intense
say that?
woman. Well,
I don't even tell her.
I'm
You
thinking
said that.
more, I'm thinking more sort of Pluto rising Scorpio,
Yeah.
more to the point than that, but
Yeah.
you're very, very sexual. And I want to say she's a rule breaker.
Absolutely.
And that I think that this
Is this
rule, no, it's
right?
You
You
name
make
it.
up your own rules. You don't obey. Okay? Whatever your parents tell you to do, you go, man, I'm going to do what I want.
It's not quite that.
Well, it's
No, it's not quite
very,
that.
what? It's more
She's a
philosophical.
Capricorn, so she respects authority. She just doesn't agree with them.
Yes.
And,
Yeah.
and the fact that she doesn't agree with them and that they're unreasonable. But
Well,
there's a
they're
difference.
watching out for her security, and
Yeah,
she
okay.
is looking out for her own fun. This
That's
girl
true.
likes excitement. She likes fun. I mean, she's
There's
here
something
to,
else.
to take a
There's-
big gulp of life.
There's other issues here, though, and I'm not going to address it too much in the air. But Annie, there's an issue.
16 years old.
There's an issue with father. There's an issue with father. There's an issue with father.
Give me a birthday.
Yeah, there's an issue with
Birthday.
father figure being really difficult and possessive. Okay, so you
Yes.
have a father figure who's very possessive,
Yes.
very difficult,
Yes.
who's very rigid thinking, and there's a possessive thing between the two of you, right? And this is what you're breaking away. This is what you're testing. So I would say she needs to examine.
Saturn on the south node.
Yeah,
Is that what
she
you're
needs to
reading?
examine. And how much do you genuinely really feel for this guy? Okay, honestly, and how much
Yeah.
are you really forcing a wedge between yourself and your family and your father
Yeah. Because your father,
to become independent?
you are going to drive your father crazy.
Yeah.
And this is, I mean, you're headed for a major confrontation here.
I've said my piece. So
Yeah, no, I just have to
being a
underscore,
parent yourself,
I have to
might
underscore what you're
respond.
saying. You know, your father thinks he's looking out for your best interest, and you feel like you know better what that is. And and I think Alex's insight, which is very in-depth, it's really quite profound for this kind of entertainment show here. So the question that you ask, you know the answer yourself. You know this is going to lead to a head-on confrontation with your dad, and you have to weigh the value of doing what you want while you're living in your father's house and under his authority, and he will insist that that's the case, that you are under his authority, and you have to weigh what are the consequences going to be to have this relationship with your boyfriend. So, you know, it's again, it's too brief to do the whole thing in depth, but it's certainly worth thinking about, talking over with your close friends, the close
Yeah.
friends that you really trust, who have their feet on the ground, who are
And
really sensible.
the other point too is that there's no way in hell, Annie, that even at 16, that this is not an intensely sexual relationship because you are intensely sexual, and your father's going to know that right away.
Yeah.
Right away, he's going to know that. And then you add whatever other assumed sort of racial concepts, whatever. If you add all together, it's definitely it's a good porridge for turbulence here. So take ownership of your conduct,
Right.
be mature and responsible, and do not in any way, shape, or form give any reason for your parents or anyone else to have any knowledge about your private life, because
It ain't gonna fly in this instance.
don't let that leak out. Be a lady to the hilt
Yeah.
when you're with this man in public in any way, shape, or form. Be a lady
Yeah.
and conduct yourself with grace. Because if you leak out any other energy, this is going to turn into a real storm. Okay?
Okay, we can do it. Say last call. Yeah. Not about his birth information. So that would be 1982. Yeah, yeah. So he's actually, there's a nice compatibility here already that I can see. He's an early Scorpio, you're early Capricorn. So yes, I can understand why the two of you want to be together. Has he ever cheated on you? Hmm.
It'd be like saying,
I'm sorry?
no, like,
Let's see. It's not the first thing that comes to mind. He's more selfish.
Possessive.
Yeah, he's
Possessive.
possessive, but he's got a double standard.
think this is over May?
Oh. Well, you know what? You're 16, and you know something? If you're with him for any length of period, any length of time, you'll find out what we're seeing here. This man is incredibly possessive, incredibly jealous, potentially very, very, very jealous, and I mean, he's a control freak.
Yeah, and he's deceptive also with, yeah. Has he cheated on you? We can't, I could never say
Yeah,
that with
I
any
can't say
certainty.
that for sure.
Is that in his nature? At his age? Absolutely. He's a ladies' man.
He's a ladies' man, and he's a very possessive, very commanding, very demanding guy.
Very
He's
charismatic.
very charismatic, and
Lots.
and as soon as anybody close to you who's got any kind of perception whatsoever, other than I mean, unless if you have perceptive friends, okay, if your friends are psychologically insightful,
Yeah.
they will take you aside and say, there are sides to this guy that are trouble.
Yeah, trouble.
And you better really make sure that you really
Yeah.
that he's healthy and that he might be a really upstanding, healthy kind of guy. We can't tell without a time of birth, but you damn well better make sure that he's spiritual, that he's religious, that he's philosophical, that he's psychologically insightful. Because if he's not those four things, you're in trouble. Okay.
What's that?
All right,
Well,
so that's a good sign.
that's
So
a
maybe
that's a
because
good indicator.
this chart is going to be very, very, very commandingly passionate
Yeah.
in one way or the other.
Yeah, see, the
Either
two of
he'll
you, the chemistry between the two of you
It's
is just,
powerful.
this is like Orpheus and Eurydice. You know, no, really, it's the classic
Yeah.
Romeo and Juliet,
Juliet.
very, very intense, and I feel that there's no way that you're going to stay away from it. But you're absolutely right that the consequences are you're going to have a conflict with your family, a serious conflict with your family. And Alex's advice is keep it low key, keep it behind the scenes. If this turns out to be a long-term situation, and
Make sure it's going to be long term if you
at
expose
18
it.
years old, he's not ready to make
Well, that's not necessarily true. I agree with you. Parts of this chart are very suspect, but we don't know the time of birth, okay? So if this guy is going to be very extreme in either he's extremely moral, extremely principled, extremely insightful, extremely responsible, or he'll be
extremely deceitful.
extremely deceitful and extremely controlling and extremely selfish. So you have to determine for yourself which one it is, and I would ask you to have your friends guide you which one of these personality types fits him. Without a time of birth, we can't know that.
Man, we got to wrap it, right? Okay.
Okay.
Thanks so
you
much,
very
Randy.
much
Good
for
luck.
calling in.
Best wishes. Thanks for the call.
You're very welcome.
Okay.
Take
Good night.
care.
Yeah.
Bye.
So we usually try to take 3 calls in each half-hour segment, but in this case, relationship work. Madeline, we can't do it. We'll have to speak afterwards.
Yeah.
So once again, thank you all for joining us. For the callers, thanks for calling. You're the ones who give us a show to do here. And we want to say once again, if you're calling anywhere outside of Woodstock, please call here only between the hours of 11 and midnight on Friday night. That's the only time we're here.
Eastern time, of
No matter
course.
what time you see us
Eastern
playing
time.
in Boulder or New York City,
Yeah.
if you call any other time, you're going to interrupt another producer's show here, and we catch a lot of crap.
We're gonna be in trouble.
So thanks
All right,
for
folks.
joining us.
Thanks for
See you
calling.
next week between 11 and midnight. Night, Alex.
Right.